Okay, so the RAPTOR supine sequence that we use, we'll cue the micro movement first. So the micro movement we're going to utilize here is a posterior tilt with then relaxation. And then the opposite leg will actually come up where the foot is flat and ultimately trying to get the heel as close to the hip as possible. Because then I would ask them to push their foot into the table to assist with the micro movement of posterior tilting. In addition to that, the leg that the RAPTOR is on, the knee will float upward. That would be knee flexion. And then we'll actually hook the heel into the table, utilizing that anchor point for internal and external rotation. So those are the micro movements that we often instruct before we place the device on the tissue. So we start with, and I'll use my hands again as a palpatory guide to know where I am from the bony landmarks on the ASIS. And we come right off of that, inferior to the ASIS, where the TFL, sartorius come up and join, and right underneath that junction you have the rectus femoris. So point being is we'll spend some time there. Now what's neat about the device is on this particular spot. So you have a femoral triangle that lies just medial to that contact point. Very beneficial to not be on the neurovascular bundle, but to stimulate it. So we don't want to be too compressive there. We don't want, even in manual therapy, to feel that pulse beneath our hand. But what's great about the machine is we place it right, again, inferior to the ASIS. We can get that tangential oscillation, that mobilization into that femoral triangle. So we'll spend some time there. We know we're safe because the person's micro movement is not disrupted. That's what's neat about utilizing the client movement. If their range of motion stays the same, it's not inhibited in any way, we know we're being very safe and effective. From there, we start to migrate down the leg, and we will use the knee floating upward, the internal external rotation as the main driver. And then again, we can take the left side, if I'm on the right side, bring it up, heel close to the hip, add more posterior tilt, hold that position while we drive the affected side. So if the RAPTOR is on the right side, then we'll go to the patellar tendon area. Just sit on that for approximately 45 seconds to a minute, and then ask and call for movement. And one of the movements we can call for to get the patella actually to change position and thus relative tissue motion is to squeeze the quadricep and then float the knee upward. So by squeezing the quadricep, we can get some change in the relative tissue motion and floating the knee upward. Now from here, I usually palpate the knee right around the patellar area, and then we'll move the RAPTOR right below the fibular head, right where the tissue comes up and connects. So you want to make sure you're on the meaty part of the tissue, not right on the fibular head. Sit there approximately 30, 45, 60 seconds. Call for movement with the ankle. So we could start with toes, toes up, foot up. In dorsiflexion, we can call for circumduction, so nice slow, same cadence circles. So we don't want to speed things up, we want it to be nice and smooth. And then we can do that in plantar flexion. So we'll plantar flex, circular motion, both clockwise and counterclockwise. And then we just migrate all the way down to the ankle. So that would complete our supine sequence.